The open roads are thrown by your life televised, we're breaking every bone. Eternal insurgents, brace off the fall. Hitting it with HardWire. Hear the engine scream. Living fast and reckless, this is our metal dream. Riding hard, never slowing. In the spotlight we shine. A biker's brutal journey. This life is ours divine. With HardWire, the crowd screams on hate, chasing down the shadows, we're addicted to the fame. Chains rattling loud, the brotherhood's alive. Every episode turns up, we're here to survive. From dusk till dawn, we're the kingdom this brew. Hitting it with HardWire. Hear the engine scream. Living fast and reckless, this is our metal dream. Riding hard, never slowing. In the spotlight we shine. A biker's brutal journey. This life is ours divine. On the edge of chaos, we embrace the field. Hitting it with HardWire. We'll always be here.
Hey everybody, welcome to Hittin It with HardWire. How's everybody doing? I see we got Carney in here and Steve and Tiffany and Mr. Steve Easy, the old ladies in here. Yesterday we became the proud owners of a new camper. Yay. We had to sit around all day at Camping World. Hey, what's up, Blair? Well, I suppose we'll start here on today's show. I know I'm quite sure you've all seen this, but why not? I'm going to play it again. Let me see, where's the button? This button. Those of you that have seen this, what did you think of it? You can't hear it?
President of the United States, you make historical decisions in other issues which affect America and other world. So, what place in the world history do you want to take? And
You can't hear that?
associate
I can hear it. I don't know
yourself
if you can't hear it. I don't know
with
why.
famous historical figures.
Yeah, I'd say George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. I would say I'm far superior to George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. Now, you know I'm only kidding, right? Because when I say that, the fake news is going to go wild. They're going to say he considers himself to be better than Washington. But you never know. You never know. I don't compare myself to anybody. I'm here to do a job. We've had a great 35 days or whatever it might be, a month, a little more than a month. We've accomplished tremendous amounts. Not only this would be a very great achievement if we could get the war stopped and get them back to normalization. I think that's going to happen. We've had very good talks on both sides, as you know. But I think we've done a very good job, just generally. If you look at all of the things we've done in 30 days, they're saying there's never been a opening for a president. The first month.
What's up, Gary?
There's never been a first month like we've had. And this is one of the very important things. This, to me, is one of the most important things because we have tremendous death taking place as we speak. And I don't want to have that. You know, think of the parents. Think of
anybody that
whether
already
they're
seen
in
this.
Russia or
What was your
Ukraine.
opinion?
Think of the parents of all these people being killed needlessly.
They came to our territory.
Should have never started. This would, if I were president, this would have never started.
Mr. President, will you continue sending military aid to Ukraine after the U.S. signed this agreement with Ukraine?
Yeah, we're
And the
gonna be
question to
continuing.
President Zelensky, do you feel like the U.S. is on your side, that President Trump is on your side at this moment?
What do you think?
He wants to know, do you think that, sort of a stupid question, because I guess we wouldn't be here if I wasn't. But
I think that the United States on our side from the very beginning of occupation, and I think that President Trump on our side, and of course, I'm sure that United States President will not stop support. This is crucial for us. It's important for us. Yes. And Putin, the president speaks about the people and the soldiers which are dying, but they came to our territory, they came to our land. They began this war, and they have to stop. And I think this is the question, was really the most important question. Can President Trump, I hope yes, with some other allies, to stop Putin, withdraw these enemies, our enemy, withdraw these troops from our land? And I think that you asked about the history, I think that if President, or when he will stop Putin, if President Trump will bring peace to our country, I think he will be on this wall.
we've had very, very good talks.
What about military aid to Ukraine?
President Zelensky just said that there'd be no compromises with Vladimir Putin. I just wanted to ask both of you. Firstly, are there compromises that you think that President Zelensky is going to have to make? And President Zelensky, is there anything that you think that you may be able to offer or bring to the table, for example, elections? Thank you.
I think you're going to have to always make compromises. You can't do any deals without compromises. So certainly he's going to have to make some compromises, but hopefully they won't be as big as some people think you're going to have to make. That's all. It's all we can do. I'm here as an arbitrator, as a mediator to a certain extent between two parties that have been very hostile, to put it mildly. They've been very hostile. There's been a vicious war. There's been a vicious war. You know, it's a very level battlefield, and those bullets go out, and as I've said many times, we were talking about it with Pete, many times the only thing stopping those bullets is a human body. And in the case we're talking about, generally young human bodies are stopping a lot of bullets.
What's up, GEG
It's
and
dead level.
American
That's
Uncensored?
why it's great farmland. It's great land. It's great farmland, but there's very little protection against the bullets that are being, and other things that are being
We're
shot.
checking this out again for anybody that didn't
all I
see
can
it.
do is see if I can get everybody at the table and get an agreement. And I think we're going to end up with an agreement. Otherwise, I wouldn't probably be even here today.
If I,
Mr. President, I have two questions for you. Do you think ultimately your legacy will be the peacemaker and not the president that led this country into another war and ended foreign wars? And I've got a
I hope it will. I mean, I hope I'm going to be remembered as a peacemaker. This would be a great thing if we could do this. I'm doing this to save lives more than anything else. Second is to save a lot of money, but I consider that to be far less important. So I hope I'm going to thank you, Brian, for that question. It was a nice question. I hope I'll be known and recognized as a peacemaker. This would be a great thing to solve. This is a very dangerous situation. You know, this could lead to a third world war. This was headed in the wrong direction. If this election were lost, if we didn't win this election, and by the way, we won it by a lot. That was a mandate. We won every swing state. We won the popular vote by millions and millions of votes. We won everything. The districts, you look at the areas of red, take a look at a map. This was a big mandate. And this was one of the things I said, we're going to get this thing settled. If we didn't win, I think this could have very well ended up in a third world war. And that would not have been a good situation. What was your second
My
question?
second question for President Zelensky.
Yeah.
Why don't you wear a suit?
Why?
Sorry? You're the highest level in this country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see, do you own a suit?
Yeah, you have problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not
Really?
respecting
I don't
the
have
president's
such.
office.
I will wear a costume after this war will finish. Yes, maybe one,
Maybe something like
like yours. Yes, maybe something better. I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper than yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, President. Yes, President. Are you going to send more arms to Ukraine in case there's no peace?
Yeah, we're going to have arms to Ukraine, yeah, sure. Hopefully I won't have to send very much because hopefully we're going to have it finished. We're looking forward to finishing this quickly. We're not looking forward to sending a lot of arms. We're looking forward to getting the war finished so we can do other things. But we very much appreciate the agreement because we needed what they had. And we're treating, our country is now treated fairly. Biden didn't do that. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. This should have never happened. This should have never started. But, sure, the answer is yes. But hopefully we won't have to send much because I'm looking forward to getting it done quickly, very quickly.
Does that mean provide security guarantees, Mr. President?
I don't want to talk about security yet because I want to get the deal done. You fall into the same trap like everybody else. A million times you said over and over. I want to get the deal done. Security is so easy. That's about 2% of the problem. I'm not worried about security. I'm worried about getting the deal done. The security is the easy part. Security is very nice. Everybody stop shooting. And now will Europe put people there? I know France is going to. I know the UK is going to. I know other countries are going to, and they happen to be right next door. We haven't committed, but we could conceivably. We have security in a different form. We'll have workers there digging, taking the raw earth so that we can create a lot of great product in this country. So in that sense, you have something, but we haven't determined that yet. I will say, in speaking to France and in speaking and they were here, as you know, last week and just the other day, they have committed to a lot of security. I don't think you're going to need much security. I think once this deal gets done, it's over. Russia's not going to want to go back, and nobody's going to want to go back. When this deal ends, I really believe this deal is going to be over. Question? Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you.
Go ahead, please.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
President, thank you.
Thank you.
Following Keir Starmer at the White House this past week, both of whom praised your courage and conviction to lead the pathway towards peace.
Right about here, the look on Zelensky's face is starting to irritate the shit out of me
Something that previous leaders lacked
when I
the
seen this.
conviction to do so. What gave you the moral courage and conviction to step forward and lead that?
Well, I love this guy.
Got a horrible attitude.
Who are you with?
One American News, sir.
Well, that's why I like him. One American News does a great job. I like the question. I think it's a very good question. It's a pathway to peace. It's a pathway to getting something solved. And I feel that as the head of this country, I have an obligation to do that. Plus, we're very much involved. We got involved. It's too bad we got involved because there should have been no involvement because there should have been no war. And there shouldn't have been October 7th. That would have never happened. As you know, Iran was broke. They had no money
Yeah,
to
that's
give
what I
to
was starting to
Hezbollah.
think.
They had no money to give to Hamas. They were stone cold broke. And then
I was getting really irritated about this point, looking at his the way he's acting, and I'm thinking to myself, "You motherfucker! That's an awfully shitty way to be towards a country that sent billions of taxpayers' dollars over there to help you. And if it wasn't for us, you'd be a part of Russia by now, okay? So at least come in. And they had, they had a chance to talk before. They didn't walk straight in there without even talking behind closed doors to start, and then they come out. And Zelensky could have done all this shit that happened, said all these things to him ahead of time. He waited till he got in front of the media to try to play the American people, which he did. If you read anything the Democrats said, he played a lot of them like a fiddle. And it was really getting on my last nerve, but
Under Biden, they
continue.
became rich as hell. They went from no money to $300 billion in a period of 4 years. And they gave a lot of that money
What's up,
away,
Papa?
and you see what happened. And that's a real mess also that we hope to be able to solve. But no, I appreciate your question very much. I feel I have an obligation to try and do something to stop the death.
If I can answer, yes, if I can answer,
Please,
sorry,
go ahead.
please.
And I do like your clothing, but
Yeah, really.
even though I have to, I think he's a great guy, by the way.
Please,
I don't know if you two like
I
each
do
other,
it,
but
please.
you know what? I think
No,
Shut up.
I think he's
why? I
dressed
like
Pet
this
you
guy.
didn't people.
I think he's dressed good.
So I have more serious things than answer on such
Yeah, sure,
questions.
that's
I will
okay.
answer on more
That's a
serious
good
questions if
statement.
I can.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so please, about security guarantees
What's up, Mike?
and about just ceasefire.
up,
We
you
can't
Rick?
just speak about ceasefire and speak and speak. It will not work. Just ceasefire will not never work because I'm like a president. I have this experience, and not only me. Ukraine before my presidency, from the 2014, Putin broken 25 times. 25 times he broken his own signature. 25 times he broken ceasefire.
But he never broke to me. He never broke
No,
to
no,
me.
you were the president.
He
You were
never
the
broke-
president
he
during.
never broke to me.
In 2016, you've been the president, Mr. President. You've been the president, but he had, of course, not with you, but he had during those period, he had conversations with our side. And we had Normandy format, the France, Germany, Ukraine, and Russia. And he broken 25 times. That's why we will never accept just ceasefire. It will not work without security guarantees. Security guarantees, maybe President is right about this document and other, but this document is not enough. Strong army is enough because his soldiers afraid, Putin's soldiers afraid of our soldiers when we're strong enough. If we are not strong enough, if we are empty, if our storage is empty, we can't defend our land. Today, he knows that we have all the world knows that we have meeting. Yes, why he's using ballistic? Putin today using ballistic on our hospitals, schools, and it says ballistic. So he knows that we are here and that President Trump is really have goodwill to stop this war. And you hear now the president. So why he's using? So he doesn't want to stop. He doesn't want. But I hope that we will do it. Really, we'll do it. Security, when we speak about security guarantees, when the Europeans are ready for contingents, they need USA backstop. If there will not be United States, we will not never have any contingents, strong contingents from the Europeans, because they don't want to divide alliance, connection between the United States as the main and strongest ally and Europeans. And this is crucial, this is important. That's what we want to speak about very much. This is very important. And air defense. So air defense, really, we have big deficit with all these systems, and we need to provide this. We need it very much. Otherwise, Putin will never stop and will go further and further. He doesn't want. He hates us, It's not about me. He hates Ukrainians. He thinks that we are not a nation. He thinks, and he shared these thoughts. I think maybe
You can
with
see
your team
Trump's
also, I
already.
don't
You
know.
can see the
But with
look
all
on
the
Trump's face.
Europeans,
He's getting impatient.
in media, officially
And
or not, he
irritated.
always said that there is no such country, such nation, such language, and such life like Ukrainian. No,
What's up, Frank?
he really doesn't respect all the Ukrainians, and he wants to destroy us. And you are right, Mr. President. That's 2%. This document, maybe other documents, it's a very good start, very good, but it will not enough to stop this person.
Should Russia take
Mr. President, may I one more question, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
I asked President
They have to
Zelensky
pay.
this question. You
This
didn't
is the
like
rule.
because-
This is the rule of the
because I-
war. This is the rule of the war. During all the centuries, all the history, this is the rule of the war. Who began, those pay. This is the rule. Putin began this war. He has to pay all money for innovation. He has to pay. Of course, some Russian assets, what we have in Europe, about 300 billions, we can use them. We can use for innovation and buy military support from the United States also. We can do it, but it's not enough. It's not enough.
President, I asked this question that you didn't like because I wanted to know.
Go ahead, please. Wait 1 second.
I asked this question that you didn't like because
What's
I
up,
wanted
Code?
to know if
Thanks
you
for
want to
stopping
position
in.
yourself in the middle between Russia and
Yes,
Ukraine or
I do.
on the Ukraine side.
No, I'm in the middle. I want to solve this thing. I'm for both. I want to get it solved. And it's wonderful to speak badly about somebody else, but I want to get it solved. If we can solve it, great. If we can't solve it, they're going to have to fight it out, and who knows what's going to happen. But I want to see it get solved.
May I follow up? One more question about
You know, I was glad to hear Trump say that. And that's what one of the things the Democrats are trying to zero in on is trying to say, well, I was glad to hear Trump say we're in the middle. Zelensky's trying really hard to get Trump to say we're on your side. But Trump says we're in the middle. This isn't our war. And it's not. It's not our fucking war. And I agree with that. We should be. I mean, I feel for the Ukrainians, and I won't make you like suffer through the Brett Baer interview. But Brett Baer asked him 3 times after all this happened to apologize, and he wouldn't. He didn't think he did anything wrong. He thinks he's all in the right, and he's not at all. You could tell by what he's saying. And I wanted to show you this. This is from Uncut. I wanted to show you this because all the news outlets are editing the shit out of it, not showing the whole thing. And I think it's important to see the whole thing. Like I was saying, we should be in the middle. We shouldn't be taking sides. That's the only way we're going to get peace is to say, because we embolden the little guy, the little shithead, Zelensky, we embolden him. If he thinks he's got America standing behind him, he thinks we got his back, he's going to act like an ass, and he's going to keep fighting, and he's not even going to try, hey, look at it this way, Mr. Zelensky, you are not a part of Russia, and that's thanks to us. You didn't lose the whole fucking country. But listen, if you didn't have the money and you didn't have you couldn't fight him off by yourself, the world didn't owe you that. Nobody owes you anything. We could have just let you become a part of Russia. Technically, that's your fucking business. It's not our business. We're trying to keep our nose to ourselves. We already did more than what we should have to start with. We've already done more than we should have. And Zelensky keeps saying over and over again, it's our people that are dying. And yes, that's true. And there'd be a lot more dead if it wasn't for all the stuff that we sent you. Okay? And you probably wouldn't. If you cared so much about your people, and I told my wife this as I showed it to her, if you care so much about your people and you didn't want anybody to die, you should have sat out there with a little white flag, waved a little white flag, say, I surrender, and just became a part of Russia again. It's not that fucking bad. They weren't going to go out there and mass genocide all of you and shoot you in the streets, okay? Russia just thought that a lot of your people wanted to still be a part of Russia. If you go back and watch Tucker's interview with Putin, and it's some interesting stuff to watch, okay? And there's a lot about he wants to be a part of NATO, And I understand why, Russia wouldn't want them to be a part of NATO. And I understand why Ukraine wants to be a part of NATO. They want us, what they want us to do is they want to pull us into the war and push Russia out of Ukraine. But it's not going to be like that. If we go in there, it's going to be World War III. Okay? We don't want to do that. We're not interested in that. If you cared so much and didn't want people to die, being a part of Russia wasn't that fucking bad. It was once, but we helped you, we helped you. And we shouldn't really have even done that. We should have just let them march in there and take over, because honestly, if it wasn't for the rest of the world emboldening your little ass, you'd already be a part of Russia. Anyway,
About U.S. troops in Europe.
we haven't even got to the part that pisses me off yet. But I already seen it, so I'm getting pissed off thinking about it.
Additional troops to Eastern Europe, including Poland, my country.
Yeah.
Are you committed to keeping these troops on the eastern flank of NATO in the future?
I'm very committed to Poland. I think Poland has really stepped up and done a great job for NATO. As you know, they paid more than they had to. They are one of the finest groups of people I've ever known.
What's up,
I'm
Hank?
very committed to Poland.
What about Baltics?
Poland's in a tough neighborhood,
What about the Baltics?
The Baltics, they got a lot of, it's a tough neighborhood too, but we're committed. We're going to be very committed, and we're committed to NATO. But NATO has to step up, and the Europeans have to step up more than they have. And I want to see them equalize, because they are in for far less than we're in, and they should be at least equal. You understand that? Why is the United States, we have an ocean in between, why is the United States in for so much more money and other things as Europe? With that being said, and as you said, they've also been obviously very helpful, but we have put in far more than they have, and I think they should equalize. Yeah, please, go ahead.
About the agreement again today, what changed between the first time that Secretary Bessent gave President Zelensky the agreement and today for the signing?
We made a deal. So
What was it?
I'm just-
Deciding factor?
I'm a business person. We made a deal. That's what changed. I didn't think we were going to make a deal, and we ended up making the deal, so that changed.
Mr. President, how do you envision a trilateral summit with President Zelensky and?
I don't know, but they don't like each other. I can tell you that. Okay? They do not like each other. It's not a love match, and it's unfortunate. That's why you're in this situation. The United States should not have allowed this to happen. Okay? The United States, run by a man that didn't know much, I'm going to be very nice, run by an incompetent person, very incompetent person, should never have allowed this to happen. I've stopped wars. I've stopped many wars. My people will tell you, I stopped wars that nobody ever heard about. I stopped wars before they ever started. You can look at I could give you a lot of nations that would tell you right now they were probably going to war. I could tell you right now there's a nation thinking about going to war on something that nobody in this room has ever even heard about. Two smaller nations, but big, still big. And I think I've stopped it. But this should have never happened.
Mr. President.
About sorry, just a second. About the
Just a
any
second.
negotiations. First of all, I want really to tell you, and I think that everybody understands that Ukraine, more than Ukrainians, nobody wants to stop this war. But at the future, any negotiations, it's understandable that two sides of the war, not Russia and the United States, because this is not the war between Russia and the United States. This is a war of Russia against Ukraine and Ukrainian people. So these two sides will be at anyway will be at the negotiation table. Then of course United States, like the strongest partner of the Ukraine, and of course Europe. I think Europe is very important. I want to speak about it with the president. But yes, Europe is very important for us because we really defend Europe for today. All Europeans really recognize that we are defending the line and they have real life and our people are dying. That's why they helped us. And also it's about the NATO. Yes, between, like the president said, you have big, nice ocean. Yes. between us. But if we will not stay, Russia will go further to Baltics and to Poland, by the way. But first to the Baltics. It's understandable for them because they've been in the USSR, you know, they've been one of the republics of the USSR, and Putin wants to bring them back to his empire. It's a fact. And when he will go there, if we will not stay, you will fight. Your American soldiers, it doesn't matter, do you have ocean or not, your soldiers will fight.
Mr. President, would you be willing to visit Ukraine, maybe Kyiv or Odessa, which is known to be a very Euro-Black
It was my question.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about Odessa now. Let's not talk about Odessa. I want to talk about making a deal, getting peace. We don't have to talk about Odessa, but a lot of cities have been destroyed. There are a lot of cities that are not recognizable. There's not a building standing.
No,
And a lot of
you
a
have
lot
to
of
come,
things have
Mr.
to
President,
happen.
you have to come and to look. No. We have very good cities. Yes, a lot of things have been destroyed, but mostly cities alive and people work and children go to school. Sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes closer to front line, children have to go to underground schools or online, but we live. Ukraine is fighting and Ukraine lives. This is very important. And maybe it's Putin is sharing this information that he destroyed us. No, he lost 700,000 people, 700,000 soldiers. He lost everything. Yes. So,
Mr. President,
Mr.
when did you
President,
last speak
one
with?
more.
when-
I mentioned
No, no,
Mr. President, thank you.
Please,
Mr.
go ahead.
President, when did you last speak with President Putin? And what did he say that?
A couple of days ago.
And what did he tell you that gave you the assurance that he wanted peace?
Well, that's what I do. My whole life is deals. I know pretty good. And I've known him for a long time. I've dealt with him for a long time. He had to suffer through the Russia hoax. You know, Russia was a hoax. It was all Biden. It was nothing to do with him. So he had to suffer through that, and he was able to do that. I think that he wants to make a deal, and he'd like to see it end. That's all I do. That's what I do. My whole life, that's what I do is make deals. And I'm in the middle of a mess because this is a real mess. It's a very dangerous one. If this doesn't get solved now, it's not going to get solved for a long time. So I hope we're going to get it solved. In the back, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Prime Minister Starmer claimed repeatedly that his government believed in free speech and was not engaged in censorship. But his country's government arrests people for memes and thought crimes, and even more worrisome is pressuring American companies to censor Americans on its behalf. How can he be a reliable, trustworthy partner when he says things that are demonstrably false on such an important topic?
Well, we actually spoke to him about that yesterday, and we thought they took it very, very much too far. JD was very strong on it. So was I. So was Marco, and we've been speaking to him about it. Marco, would you like to say something
What's
about
up, Frogzilla?
We have concerns, obviously, with the conduct of various, particularly as it impacts Americans. And there's real concern that American speech, which is online, could fall into the hands of British or any country's jurisdiction. And so this is a point the Vice President made in Munich, and I think it's a very compelling one that what unites us with Europe, as much as anything else, is these shared values, and one of them being free speech. So if Americans are threatened by it, we're going to need to take action in that regard.
JD? It's actually a very important question.
We spoke about this in detail with the Prime Minister, the Foreign Secretary, and others at lunch yesterday. And I know that Secretary of Commerce Lutnick followed up in private meetings last night. This is really important. We believe Americans have the right to speak their mind, even if we in this room disagree with them. They have the right to speak their mind in the public square, which is often online these days. And we're going to defend that right as it pertains to American companies and American citizens vigorously if we have to. I do think that under the president's leadership, we're
He's
going
a
to
very
find
good
common
speaker.
ground with our friends in the UK on this question, but it remains to be seen. The principle that will guide us is we believe in free speech in this country and we'll fight for it for American citizens.
Mr. President, on the deal, is there any other oil and gas component to the deal? Is it all
A
critical?
little bit. We'll see.
On LNG?
But we're not really looking for that so much. We got a lot. We have more than anybody in the world by far. So no, we're not.
Oh no. Seems we're having technical difficulties. We'll be right back as soon as I can get this blue screen of death off. I think we're having a few issues. I had a blue screen of death there pop up. And yeah. For some reason it got mad. I don't know what's going on with this stupid computer. It's been doing that the last couple of weeks. Can y'all see me now? Anyway, I hope so. I hope I'm not. Oh, there. Mike says, "Welcome back." Yeah, we're having some minor well, I don't want to say minor. It took me a while to get back on. It's having some technical difficulties here. Let's see if it'll let me go back without
So no, we're not talking
going
about
back
too
to the
much, but a
blue
little
screen of
bit.
death. I don't know if something's overheating in my computer or what's exactly going on, or if it's a setting or if it's one of the things I put in there. But this video is almost over.
I think it affects also, but for the most part, no.
And sir, is there any agreement from Ukraine to purchase U.S. LNG as part of the deal, or is
No.
that on the table at all?
No, we don't need that.
Mr. President, I just wanted to ask you about, you just mentioned that you'd spoken to Vladimir Putin a couple of days ago. Just to be clear, that's a new call, not the one that you...
I've spoken to him on numerous occasions.
Okay, and how was the latest call? What did you discuss? How did it go?
Are you serious with that question?
I am, I'd love to know.
It went well. I think we're going to have a deal.
On the minerals deal, some of those minerals are
Yeah,
in
Papa.
Ukraine, not far from the front lines and in areas that Russia.
A very good question. Thank you so
Would you
much.
direct President Putin to withdraw his forces from those areas if there's U.S. interest?
Well, we'll take a look at the time. We have a lot of area. It's a very big area we're talking about, so we'll take a look. I'll study that and I'll see.
And who would protect those minerals if they are U.S. interest? Would that be Ukraine?
They'll be protected. The agreement will protect them.
US
The agreement, yeah, we're signing an agreement. You know?
What if Russia tries to invade or orders Russian aggression in their spot?
I just told you, I don't think that's going to happen. And if that were going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal. If I thought that was going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal. You know, they ought to focus on CNN on survival, not asking me these ridiculous questions. Focus on surviving, because CNN's got such low ratings. I don't think they're going to survive. Let's go. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Since I already mentioned Poland. Poland was under Russian control for decades after the Second World War. When I was a kid, I looked at the United States not only as a most powerful country, richest country in the world, the country that has great music, great movies, great muscle cars, but also as a force for good. And now I'm talking with my friends in Poland, and they are worried that you align yourself too much with Putin. What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" It doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America. And for the good of the world, I'm aligned with the world. And I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred. And I understand that. But I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the way it goes. All right, one more question. Please.
Hey, I want to respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden, of thumping our chest and pretending that the president of the United States' words mattered more than the president of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now the President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact
2015.
2014.
2014 is
Well, 2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but,
That's exactly
but
right.
yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you are not strong...
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems? Bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
Starting to get really mad.
Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that. Remember this. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards.
Playing cards.
But right now, you don't.
You're
playing cards.
Mr. President.
You're playing cards.
Serious.
You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III.
notice, look closely throughout most of this. When Trump's trying to talk to him, he's refusing to look him in the eye. What's that tell you about somebody? That tells you a lot about somebody. That tells you they're a fucking snake usually. He won't look. He turns every once in a while, but the majority of the time he's talking, he won't look at him.
What do you
You're
speaking about?
gambling with
What are you
World
speaking
War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
I'm
that's
with
back
all
to you,
respect to you.
far more than a lot of people said
very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once?
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
you said thank you.
Even today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for
What?
the United States
What
of
are you speaking
America
about?
and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. Your country's
Can I-
in big
can-
trouble.
can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning.
I know.
You're not winning this.
I...
You have a damn good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through
I
this
said thank
stupid president, $350 billion.
You voted
We gave
for
you
your
military equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave, but they had to use our military.
What about
if,
West
if you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this, I tell you.
Just say thank you.
And he's
I
just arguing
spent a
with
lot
him.
of time saying it to American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements
Getting
rather
real
than trying
shitty.
to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on out here. I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running low
I
on
know.
soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't, please,
you're running
Mr.
low
President.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I wanted this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But
But
you're
I
saying you
said-
don't want a ceasefire?
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
That
what
wasn't
is
with
the
me.
nation- It
That was
wasn't
with
with you.
a guy named Biden, who was not a smart person.
But this
That
is
was
your,
with,
this
that was
is
with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to what?
Right here, I was thinking Trump needs to go
It's gonna be
back
a
to
tough
his
deal to make,
WWE
because the
roots
attitudes
and
have to change.
fucking pick him up and should have picked him up and body slammed his ass. Gave him the macho elbow. Bam! That's what you get, little shit. Ungrateful little fuck.
What are you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam.
And that's
he had
the
to put
bottom
up with that.
line.
He was being accused of all that stuff.
Because
All I
Stone
can
Cold
say is
America
this.
said so. Put
He
the
might have
smack down
broken
on
deals
him.
with Obama and Bush. And he
Ooh,
might have broken it
yeah.
Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break him.
Snap into a Zelensky.
He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is, I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think, huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that. All right, we'll see what we can do about putting it together. Thank you.
After that, they Trump booted Zelensky and his whole crew out of the Oval Office. And I guess Zelensky, the whole way out to his vehicle, was saying, let's have a reset. He said a reset. And I kept saying, there ain't no do-overs. You come in this country and you act shitty towards our president and our vice president in the Oval Office. I think he was too fucking nice to you, in my opinion. You know, but that also, this plays well in Trump's hand towards the deal, because now he could see that the United States is just not going to take his shit. We're not going to just jump in on his side like he wants. It's not going to happen. So now you come back to the negotiating table, period. You have no other options. You don't have, that's why Trump kept saying you don't have the cards, because he hasn't got a lot of options. He can go over there and die and let his whole country be taken, or he could give up a little bit and still stay. He'll have to have an election eventually. I don't know if I was in his country and I were his people, I'd be fucking pissed that he went over there and acted like a jackass. And as soon as I seen it, I said, "You watch. The Democrats are going to say that Trump was being mean to him and trying to belittle him." And sure enough, that's all I've seen from the Democrat media is how mean Trump was to him. He belittled him. And I thought that was just the dumbest shit. It is, you know, if you get a chance and you haven't done it yet, Elon Musk just was on Rogan like 2 days ago again for like his 5th time, because him and Joe are friends. But they talked for like 3 hours and Elon went over some fantastic points. And some of the things he says, I don't want to be a spoiler alert, but some of the things he says is really good. He goes through a lot of crazy things. You know, one of the things that blew my mind I seen the other day is in all that paperwork somewhere, Elon found that we were paying $2.9 million to Obama yearly for the use of his name in association with Obamacare. And I said, you got to be shitting me. It's called the Affordable Care Act. It's not called the Obamacare Act. You know, that is just the epitome of corrupt garbage and that they're trying to clean up. And Elon made a point about something. He says empathy is a really good thing, and it's great that people want to feel empathy for people. There's such a thing called suicidal empathy. When it gets to the point where you're feeling sorry for people and it's killing you as a nation or killing you as a people or a person, you got to draw a line. You know, you can't feel sorry for somebody so much so that you destroy everything. And that's what the Democrats are trying to do. They're trying to make people play on people's sympathies to the point of just wanting to absolutely destroy everything. And it's just absolute insanity to me. And like I said, if you get a chance to watch that interview with Rogan and Musk, it was a very good interview. And like I say, Elon acts like a fairly down to earth dude. It's just really smart, because you can tell when he says a lot of things. And he makes a point to say something like about the Democrats and people that only get their news from one source. he says it's really quite unbelievable how these people are totally brainwashed into thinking some of these things. And yeah, he says he's pretty sure people want to kill him, and I think Elon would be awesome to sit down and drink a beer with. That's how you got to judge people, you know. Is this the kind of person you feel like you could sit down and bullshit with and have a beer with and some laughs and stuff, you know? Carney, I'm not sure how to redirect. I haven't figured that out yet. But yeah, I'm going to get off here. My old lady sent me a picture of our new camper leaking in the bathroom somewhere, so I got to go check that out. It's antifreeze colored, so it's not coming from outside, which is, I don't know, a good, I suppose good. It'd be better if it wasn't there, but it's a good sign that it's nothing major. Most people are eccentric that have that kind of intelligence. He's a different kind of guy, but I bet he'd have some great stories. He just seems like someone that'd be really cool to really sit down and talk to. And yeah, I'm gonna cut this stream a little short. I apologize for the technical difficulties. Maybe this week sometime I'll get a chance to tear into my computer a little bit and figure that out so I don't have that issue anymore. The way it's happening is whenever I'm talking to you guys and like not touching anything. So I think it might be in either the graphics driver or something like that, where it's trying to flip it, almost like flip a screensaver on because I haven't touched anything for a minute. It may be that, or it may be that card I put in. If I don't need that new card, I might take it out. I got to figure out something, because we can't keep having that happen. That's not good. No bueno. So, yeah, y'all stop over to Carney's stream, and I will catch y'all next week. I'll let you know this week sometime if I decide to change the time, but for now, just plan on 2 o'clock as usual. I'm thinking about moving it to 4 o'clock. That may happen. But yeah, y'all stop over at Carney's and give him some love. He's got a good stream over there too. What's up, S&S? We's just taking off. Stop over to Carney's ride and see his stream. I got to go to the camper and see what's wrong with it, so it don't ruin anything. Gotta love being a new owner of a used vehicle. Technically, I mean, it's a camper, but it's like having a used vehicle. It's, you know, you just don't know. And, well, much love, honor, and respect. God bless all of you, and I'll see you next week.
Hittin' it with HardWire. We're burning it bright. Living on the edge, we'll ride through the night. No fear in our hearts, just the roar of the steel. Together we rise, now this life feels real. Yeah, held a new path on that twisted black line. A YouTube dream where his past can't confine. With every rev, he's reclaiming his soul, teaching the world how to ride.